Yes, today we have a very strong, loaded, emotional loaded topic, which is, life and the opposite as we think of it. That's called death. Death of life forms, no matter if it's with 2 legs or with 4 legs. Sorry, but I hope you can, although you might have experienced this right now or not long ago, that you had someone who died or an animal that died, and you are still very, very deeply sad about that and suffering a lot of it. And I really wanted to also look at that topic because it is so important to understand and to think about it and to talk about it and to implement this into our lives and to deal with it in a different way than we often did. And yes, today I was sitting here preparing this video, and then I thought, wow, I feel it. I'm getting heavy. I mean, to me, it does get heavy because I thought about that the whole day because I planned to talk about that issue or topic, and now it's sitting here. I thought, I felt that heaviness as I was thinking about that topic. So, and of course, I have also experienced death before from my granddad, for example, and two of my, well, even more. No, my grandmom, a few grandmoms, a few granddads, but no one like accidental, like very spontaneous accidental all of a sudden, not yet. Animals, I've had to experience dying cats that I really loved as a child. So I had to really think about that the whole day because I wanted to talk about this. And actually I remembered as well my grandmom, she had to let her son go, my uncle it was, because he did suicide. He jumped off the tall building, 10 how do you say, levels, 10 from the 10th floor. Yeah. And actually, maybe I tell you that he was 30 years old. He had a child and a wife. And what he did was he just rang on the door of his mom. She opened the door. She lived in that 10th floor apartment. Then he came up to her, went right through the whole apartment, right to the terrace, said nothing and just jumped down. Yeah. And I remember today, because I wanted to talk about this topic, I remember that my grandmom used to have, I don't know him because I'm too young to know him, but she always had a picture of his dead body with a flower on his breast laying, a red rose. She had that picture hanging in her apartment. And I always thought as a child, I was thinking, oh, this is so intense, this picture. this must remind her all the time on this moment, and I was always questioning myself if she would, if it's if it holds her into a bad feeling situation, if she wanted to always be remembered on this very unhappy moment. So I will never know, because she's already dead, and only like 3 years ago I started, and I realized many things, and I kind of had this own like reborn situation, but mentally, and that's so funny because I just found that talk from Eckhart here, and he's talking exactly about that many people experience the rebirth, or kind of a death and then rebirth in the spiritual awakening. And that's what happened to me. All of a sudden, I didn't plan that. So, and you never plan it, huh? It's, it's not plannable. So, what I just wanted to let you know, that I do have some relation to that strong emotion about dying of close beings. Let's say it with the words from Eckhart, because it's cats, it's dogs, it's horses, whatever, it's people, persons, moms, dads, whatever, your own children. I mean, this is all kinds. But anyhow, first of all, I want to let you listen to Eckhart's talk, and that's really inspiring as always. I love to listen to Eckhart's wonderful explanations. And later on, I would like to give you some other inspirations that I heard a lot. Well, I read a lot about people who were close to death, or that were dead and that died and came back. And it's so wonderful. So I want to really connect you with the wonderfulness about that. So please hold on and listen to all that Eckhart is saying, and later on what I found out, and feel the truth in it, and want to invite you to feel the same about death. Have a wonderful listening now.
When our dog passed away under similar circumstances, and in the end, because she was suffering too much, we had to ask the vet to come, and she died peacefully, and she had a wonderful life, was loved and gave love for 9 years, and her consciousness, she was a female, benefited greatly from being together with us, with humans, and with us in particular. And we benefited from her unconditional, continuously loving presence. She loved almost everybody.
Same.
She loved almost every other dog or animal, and almost every other human, with very few exceptions. And whenever somebody, whether it's an animal that you are very close to or a human, the moment a person dies or an animal dies, you realize what you loved was not the physical form, or the physical form may be beautiful and part of the loving experience, but the moment the life is gone, that which you loved is not there anymore. There is something inhabits the physical form that is the essence, the organizing principle, the intelligence, whatever you want to call it, behind, that keeps the molecules and atoms of the physical form together and organizes, holds them together. Science doesn't know about that yet. It only it equates life with matter, but life is beyond that, and ultimately life is consciousness, and the dog is an expression of the one consciousness, different from a human. The human is an expression of the one consciousness, or any non-physical entity can only also be an expression of the one consciousness expressing itself at different levels of evolution. So it's like you could say a ray of sunlight. You are a ray of sunlight, and I am, and the dog is, and the flower is, all consciousness incarnating in form. So that does not die. The essence doesn't die, and the dog, it's not a dog. I mean, we think we know what we are talking about when we say a dog. No, it is a being, an energy field, a being, an expression of the one consciousness. Not, we think we know when we label things and call it something, we think we know what it is. We don't know what a dog is. And just by calling it dog, it's just pseudo knowledge. We don't know what a human is. Just the fact that somebody has a name, we think you know what that is. No, it's an unknown phenomenon. It's through the language gives us the illusion that we know, but we don't really know. And so here you have the dog, this wonderful presence, closed in matter, temporarily, and something happened because consciousness evolves throughout the universe and evolves in billions of ways and forms, in and through billions of ways and forms. It's a magnificent, ultimately totally incomprehensible miracle, totally incomprehensible to the human mind, but consciousness is engaged in this evolutionary process, the one consciousness, and whatever suffers is the one consciousness. It's not a coincidence that there's a religion on this planet where the main image is a suffering God. Isn't that strange? I mean, we have some explanation for it. We say, well, that was Jesus who died for this. Okay, let go of that explanation and just remain with the fact that here you have the main image of that religion is a suffering, basically, whether you call it Son of God or God, doesn't matter, a suffering God. And there's a deep significance to that. You don't have to be a Christian. In fact, if you're a Christian, you probably don't want to go there where I'm going now. There's a deep significance there because this suffering God is everybody. It is the fundamental human archetype. It's the suffering that every human and every life form, but in this case a human, he represents the human, that every life form goes through when this life form assumes the form of the material form, the separate, seemingly separate material physical vehicle, and is then defined in form. There were ancient teachings they're quite close to the truth that say that that consciousness fell into matter as if it were a mistake. But I think it's a good image to say that consciousness, there was a kind of fall of consciousness into matter, but it wasn't a mistake. There are no mistakes in the universe. So, and if there is a mistake, it has a higher purpose for learning, and so it's not a mistake anymore. So that for those years that you lived together, you both, your consciousness and the dog's consciousness, which are not really separate, although we just call them that, benefited greatly and grew, evolved through being together. So it helped the dog and it helped you. It added something to your consciousness, that being together with that entity, with that being. And that is not lost. I cannot tell you in what way that which animated that entity that we call dog continues on its journey back to the source, but it continues on its journey as you continue on it, not as a person, not as a personal identity that survives, but an underlying energy field, and the underlying consciousness that gives rise to this form, of course, continues on its journey and ultimately is never separate from its source. It just believes itself to be separate.
Yes, now I would like to add some more thoughts, and especially one that I found. I love that one. I found it in the book of Neil Donald Walsh with his Conversations with God. And I let you know, it's the capital number 8. And it's really, 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 really wonderful. Because yes, it's the same. In general, it's he says exactly the same. And my experience was this death 3 years ago, mental, and rebirth. And I can say my biggest feeling was the connectedness of everything. That I'm connected with everything around me. If it's this chair I'm sitting on, if it's an animal that is like a bird flying above me, a person, the next person, and I know you. But it's really, we are all connected. It's not that... And we are all connected in the way that we are a bird. We are the chair. We are all these things too. Because everything consists of the same material. If you look deeper into the molecular structure of everything, and the nano size of everything, we all have the same. There is space, and there are like atoms or electrons, or we can go into the smallest particle, which name ever we gave that one. I don't know right now what's the smallest one we named so far, but I'm sure that there is even a small one that we will find out in a few years. And everything consists of that. And between this, there is room. And I'm sure, as we all know exactly, there is also no room and no time. We will sooner or later know what this room actually is. And from my understanding now, it's energy. It's vibrating energy for me. If I understand everything that I listened to and read in the books about everything, quantum physics and everything, it's all energy vibrating. And we are vibrating energy, just like anything else around us. Even the air that you cannot see, you can just feel it when a storm is there. But even there, it's energy. We are surrounded by energy. We are energy. Yeah. So the wonderful thing here is that death and life has to be understood that way, only that way, that as soon as a moment starts, it's already dying as well. Any situation that you're experiencing, that you're feeling, that you're seeing, that you're is starting and ending in the same situation. And this is all there is to know about death. And that's the only reason why we have created that word death, or that status of difference to life, that is death, because we wanted a worth to things. We wanted to feel the worth. Yeah, the worth of a situation, of anything that happens, and everybody who's there, to appreciate, to be grateful, to have grateful feeling. And I'm not saying to be grateful, you have to be great. I'm saying to feel. We create this imagination of death to feel more intense. Yeah. And it's so crazy. Just imagine this. It's to just realize that everything that starts ends as well. Through this combination, you can enjoy you can really be this grateful, because I know how difficult it is to be grateful. I did the grateful trainings I did. I was really good at that. I was fucking good. Sorry, the word. But the first year I worked, or I got to know about personal growth and all this. I was right away picked everything up quick, easily, and I knew, I felt it. I felt gratefulness for everything. But then after a while, okay, it's still the same all. Oh? So everything repeats again. So, whoa, to be grateful every morning for the same thing, I found really hard. So I really digged deeper into how does it really work. I mean, I can do an exercise of being grateful by telling me every morning, oh, I'm so happy for the water coming out of my, to have warm water, to have a warm shower. But I felt it only in the first weeks, months, and then it changed. I couldn't feel it anymore. I could say it, yes, but I couldn't feel it anymore. So what helps me now is rather to go deeper into understanding of life and death. I had to look at death, and this is what we in our life, in our generation, we stopped looking at the death. We stopped implementing that. The real meaning of death. I don't want to even say because. I just want to point out that it is like it is. We push that thing away. We don't want to look at it, and that's not fair to ourselves. Because this way we cannot. If we don't look at death, we cannot enjoy as well. That's why we are also not able to feel the real joy of life, of being alive. because death is only the meaning of changing forms, that everything changes all the time. So if you are always aware of that, you can appreciate everything a lot more. And this helps you to appreciating and to really feeling a lot more love to everything that is and that you have in your life, every person, every circumstance, everything. You can appreciate. You can start appreciating that more and more. But what I wanted to also, if I know from someone who had lost his partner, and he explained what to do, what you can do. I mean, one part is that you understand that his soul decided this way, and his soul is happy. If someone died that where you and you still have a feeling of sadness for that person, don't worry, because it's the soul's decision, and it's totally fine. It's what the soul wants. It had his task fulfilled, and it wanted to go on in another new, different form. And yes, I want to also tell you the feeling afterwards. You really feel even more connected to everything, because then you have no form anymore, no information of form. So it's a very nice status after death, after you lose, you disconnect from that form information, from that information of being this or that form. Because then it's a lot lighter. Can you imagine? It's lighter to not be a form. A form has a weight, is heavy, but to not have a form, it's very light and very free. No boundaries, no borders, no limitations. It's a lot more free, so it's a very nice status for that person. So just think of the happiness that this soul has now after changing, transforming, So that helps you maybe, that helps you maybe 50%, and the other 50% is of course the loss of your whole there. The person is not there anymore. There is a big hole that feels really empty for you. So, and also animal, not only person, animal, whatever it is, you just lost. And to fill up this hole again, or let's say to faster come over that feeling of pain, of a missing, like a missing place, a missing hole, an existing hole that you feel. You can go very deep into that feeling with this other person or animal that you had. Go to places, go to do things that you used to do together, and go really deeply into it and feel it. Feel what you've done, what you did, the joy that you had. Feel that joy that it brought to you, that animal or that person. Feel that. Go and feel that again. this way you come so deeply into that appreciation that it's so much easier from that appreciation to become open for a new form in your life, for something new to come. Yeah, that's how it can happen. So I wish you all the strength and power to do that, to allow yourself to go into that very deep feeling, rather than continuing anything that you have to do, that you do, to not have to think about that loss. That makes it longer, and it will probably even make you, as it will lean on your shoulders as a pressure, for a long time. So I really recommend you to go into that feeling, to go to places, to do that what I just said, and feel, allow yourself the feeling, because then you feel what it was, what you were enjoying with this person or animal, and you will feel that, and you will sense that there are people around, and that there are, and they can connect to you in certain moments while you're doing this. I just explain a little bit the feeling, because then these people can connect to you and a little bit give you a little fulfillment of this whole, a little. And then in another situation, another person, and another, and even it can come from within you, the fulfilled feeling, even without this person there. And then you start realizing that it's in you, even this person or animal that's not there anymore, it is in you, and you can still enjoy. You can fill this hole with your own feelings and memories of joy in a very deep sense. And you can even allow others to take part. I mean, if you have like a new pet or a new person later on, and you understand that you can share your feelings about this lost one with this other person as well. You can share the feeling. I hope you enjoy the talks and the tips and the different inspirational experiences. And always think of this, that you are, what are you? Yes, the lottery win of your life. Have a wonderful day, and talk to you soon.